How China's Xiaomi has taken over Apple as the biggest global phone maker. Huawei's biggest rival is now number 2 in the world of phone makers. It is now also threatening Samsung for the top spot. The category is assessed with sales and demand in shipment per quarter. The Chinese phone maker has also closed the gap between Samsung and themselves, the second most shipped. What we are seeing is another critical player take the Huawei spot. We will also discuss the iPhone growth fluctuations since 2019. The Chinese phone maker, who has never been number 1 even in their own country, has finally put themselves up to the global pedestal. Stocks from last year showed that Samsung had a 23% share of the total market, with iPhone behind them in 19%. But this year, the tide has changed. Not only has the South Korean smartphone maker lost some of the market shares, but Xiaomi has also gained considerably. Samsung now has a 19% market share with all their phones, and Xiaomi has a 17% share, the closest anyone has ever been to Samsung. Apple had a 14% share. Vivo and Oppo share 10% with prospects of growth. These figures were for the number of shipments in the second quarter of the year. The market period seeing these new changes has shown that interest for new products has risen. More people are looking for an alternative to the Samsung and iPhone shared monopoly. The success story of Xiaomi has been astonishing. The phone maker saw a 300% increase in demand in Latin America, 50% in Western Europe, and 150% in Africa. A tweet from Xiaomi read, "We've moved up one more spot. Just in from Canalys, we are now the second largest smartphone brand worldwide in terms of shipments. This amazing milestone couldn't have been achieved without our beloved Mi fans. #No Me Without You." They then asked their fans to retweet with their Xiaomi phones. The race to the top has come so quick and unannounced and might face some challenges. Xiaomi may not have been fully prepared for this newfound fame, and they may still be overwhelmed. The goal will be to push their premium line of phones to the new markets. They have to start promotions that target the places that are yet to increase sales and engage where they are already winning. The Mi 11 Ultra being their most advanced phone, they have to market it more. The phone maker has a good chance to ultimately dethrone Samsung for the top spot if the momentum they have now does not die down. The company made massive strides in their Mi series and Note 10 launch. The Mi 11 Ultra is almost sold for $1,000, which is the only high-end product they have. The company is more focused on the mass market side of things. That usually gets the most interest of budget-minded people. The average price of Xiaomi phones is a quarter of Apple's and 40% lesser than Samsung's. Those series sales put them ahead of both Apple and Samsung. This is the first time any phone maker has launched a product that outsold a newly launched Samsung and Apple product. The series saw an 83% instant boost in sales for Xiaomi in a year, the highest annual growth rate seen in a long time in the industry. The company is using more channel partner consolidation and better older stock management to achieve this status. The phone maker was once a contender, and now it is an incumbent and one of the two to beat. The company has also announced a move to get into electric vehicle units soon. The announcement was made in March. The day after the report was released, Xiaomi stock surged by 5% in Hong Kong. The founder and CEO of Xiaomi sent a letter to his employees when the report was released. In the letter, he considered the position a milestone and hoped to keep at it. He said, "Becoming the number 2 vendor in the world is an important milestone. Notwithstanding the celebrations now, I want to make sure we can maintain our second place steadily and firmly in the future." Samsung is not going out so quickly. The company has always had a firm grip on its fans with their upgrades and slightly less expensive phones than Apple. The second quarter shipments reported by Canalys showed that Samsung accounts for 1 in every 5 shipments of smartphones. The company has already announced increased sales for this third quarter. They have announced increased sales in their cheaper mass-market models and the Galaxy S21. The company is also doing well in their other electronic devices. They make laptops, semiconductors, tablets, watches, memory chips, and televisions. Apple, on the other hand, enjoyed poor growth rates this past quarter. The smartphone and device makers only had a growth increase of 1%. This number even comes off the back that stores started opening up, and iPhone 12 was an instant hit in the new year. The company made $49.7 billion in sales by March. Those first quarter sales gradually fell through the cracks as we moved into the second quarter. I guess it was because the hype of iPhone 12 had died down and we have experienced new waves of COVID-19. In comparison, Vivo and Oppo maintained their figures from the first quarter. The two Chinese companies recorded a 10% shipment share globally. The two companies are still running towards producing something mind-blowing that will launch them higher on the charts soon. The exit of Huawei from the premium smartphone market is a catalyst for this new feat. Huawei was the first Chinese phone to disrupt the shared monopoly. They came into the game and took second place from Apple. This position was as recent as 2019. The smartphone maker was the world's most sought-after newbie, and everyone wanted a taste of their ultra specs. Soon after they occupied this position, they withdrew from the premium smartphone market for many reasons. Huawei went under due to US sanctions and trading bans. The United States banned the Chinese tech company over claims that it might be spying on the country. The security risk accusation from 2019 has deeply affected the company. The UK was initially planning to build its 5G network with Huawei and took a step back due to the accusations. Although the company explained that it would not allow the Chinese government to interfere in their work and detailed the company's structure, they were still banned. The US believed that countries that used the 5G chips from Huawei stood the risk of the Chinese government spying on them. If the whole country switched to 5G from China, they could be attacked if the Chinese government switched them off. This was when the difficulties started for the company. The smartphone industry made a push at the exact moment that Huawei started facing challenges. The company even dropped to third place in China, where they have always stayed on top. The analysts forecasted that even though the company has denied Huawei's exit, their decreased market share will have a commanding effect on their competitiveness and pricing strategy. The smartphone industry seems to have seen a decline before this year. The market picked up right where it left off and had a 25.5% year-over-year shipment growth. The vaccine rollout and its impact on the improved global economy are what accounted for this boost. Many people are going back to normalcy, and people are back to being fully employed. That leaves people wanting to spend more. The devices shipped so far in the year as of April stood at about 346 million. The drop of Huawei from the top 5 only empowered other alternatives. Companies like Vivo, Oppo, and Xiaomi took advantage of the situation and made more sales. What are your experiences with Xiaomi phones? Are you tempted to try them now, or do you want to see Apple back up? Let us know your thoughts.